What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, Mark Fuller, FreeWorldOrder. Another video archive. I'm not doing this one on Facebook live because I just wanted to record the video, make sure I don't get interrupted, and make sure I don't have to deal with, data connection and all of that. That's the only thing about Facebook Live. I know that we'll have to deal with that when we actually begin doing the Facebook Lives in person. Well, not in person. Well, yeah, in person. But what I mean is when we actually begin doing Facebook Lives in real time, we'll have to deal with that. So I don't really want to deal with that right now. I'll just record these videos on my phone. I want to talk about competition. Is competition advancing or destroying society? Is it building us or is it destroying us? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, and we also are going to address why there's a need for competition in society and in business. It's because of the system that we're using, the monetary system. We're going to talk about it, though. So is competition advancing us or destroying us as human beings? Off the top, we all know that competition is destroying us. There's no way for you to really justify competition being productive. It's counterproductive, because the only argument that people have when it comes to competition is, well, if you're not competitive, then you're not going to put forth your best effort. But we're not talking about putting forth your best effort when we talk about competition. Really, what we're talking about when we mention competition is wanting to win. It's like you want to win by any means. You're willing to do whatever it takes to win, period. That has nothing to do with making your best effort and doing the best that you're capable of doing. Because it's rather easy to determine whether or not somebody is going to win in the competition. Am I right? Because you're going to identify who the winner is going to be beforehand by seeing who is the most fit for whatever the competition is. So it's easy to determine who the winner is going to be most of the time. Of course, with the exception, when it comes to some sports like basketball and football and baseball, where there's more than one variable that determines what team wins. Like what the individual performance is of specific people on the team, and whether or not everything comes together in order for the team to win, with the exception of that, of course. But we're talking about, like, if it's just you by yourself, if it's just you alone by yourself, that's what we're talking about right now. Then it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else to determine if you're going to win or not. You understand what I'm saying? So if that's the case, then really the competition aspect of it is coming from your desire to want to win by any means. So what this does is now it interjects more than just a competitive attitude into the mix. Now you're dealing with, corruption. Somebody might be willing to cheat to win. You see what I'm saying? So the competition aspect of anything, really, when people are under pressure to win, they're willing to do anything, even if it's not fair, if it's something that is corrupt. They're willing to do that to win. So because of the whole competition aspect of it, that by being a winner that you're going to have a certain reward, a certain prize for winning, whether it be the accolade or, it be an actual financial reward, you win money or whatever the case may be. Knowing that, you're willing to do whatever it takes to win, even if it means cheating, even if it means lying. So the competition as a concept is not advancing us as human beings, because there's no need for competition when it comes to the actual problems that we have that we're trying to solve as people. Like we're all trying to solve the same problem. We all have the same issues that we're dealing with as human beings. All of humanity is dealing with the same problems. You don't have black problems. You don't have white problems, Latino problems. When it all boils down to it, we all have the same issues. So because of that, everyone is on the same playing field when it comes to problems. It just seems like there's different types of problems because there are different types of cultures and people do things differently, but that doesn't mean that the problems are any different. It's the same problems. It's just like if you live in a town where your water supply is polluted, that's a problem. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what language you're speaking. If the water is polluted where you live, that's a problem for everybody who lives there. You see what I'm saying? So there's common problems. It's just common problems. It's not exclusive to anyone. So if that's the case, then you have to, when you look for solutions, you got to figure out a common solution to those common problems. And competition does not promote that. As a matter of fact, competition is counterproductive to that, because now it's really just a matter of people competing to win the number one spot, to be number one at something, or to be the best, to be considered to be the best at something that they're doing. So you're really doing it for the accolade. You're really not doing it for the underlying common denominator that is solving the problem for everybody that's involved. Your objective is to win. And that's what competition is promoting. Winning by any means. And then what happens to the people that don't win? What are they called? Losers. Now you tell me if that's counterproductive or not. That's definitely counterproductive. So whoever does not win is considered to be a loser. It's considered to be less than the person who wins. That's very destructive in our society. And it is definitely prevalent within the social system. It's built into the monetary system as a whole, because if you don't have enough money to do anything, you're definitely considered a loser. You're considered a bum. You know what I mean? You considered less than, oh, well, you can't provide for your family because you're not making enough money. Well, it's whose fault is it that a person is not making a sufficient amount of money to pay for all the things that their family needs? Some people end up being in that position where they do earn enough money because they're looking for ways to manipulate the system somehow, either by making more money or living in a place where it costs less to live. Again, you're figuring out how to manipulate the system. That's really what it is that you're doing. It's not that you're figuring out how to do anything. You're not solving a problem. You're figuring out how to survive within a system that was designed for you not to survive in. It's designed to keep you at the bottom of the system because things are not made available to you by default. And it's, it's really my goal through this platform, the FreeWorldOrder, and everything that we're doing, to trigger conversations and dialogue. That's what it is that I want to do using this platform. So I get on here and I talk a lot about things that will provoke your thoughts and provoke you to think on purpose. Because the more that you think about the way that this system is designed, the more and the sooner that you'll realize that this system is not designed for anyone really to benefit from it. It's designed for you to be a slave to it. It's designed for you to cooperate with it. They make you feel like, well, you have to compete. Well, what does that mean? Compete for what? What are people competing for? Other than a little bit higher status, quote unquote, or class within this bullshit system that everybody's living in. Basically, so your objective in life is to work every day of your life until you die, pretty much, just to get your hands on money. because money is the only thing that's giving you access to everything that you need and that you want within the system. That's why this bullshit system has got to go, because it doesn't work for us. It's counterproductive to everything that we're trying to accomplish as humanity. It's like human beings are becoming like a cancer on this planet. Everything that we're doing collectively is fucking up the ecosystem. It's fucking up the environment. It's killing animals. It's killing us. We're still using fuels, fossil fuels, crude oil, that puts pollution into the air when we have all of this renewable clean energy around us, like sunlight, wind, the ocean, geothermal, which is volcanoes and shit. We have all of this around us, and we have the technology to utilize these sources of energy, and we're not doing it on a scale where it's being used by the system. You see what I'm saying? You go into any major city anywhere in the world, and it's a bunch of pollution in the city, because the energy that's being used is not clean energy. It's fossil fuels, it's oil and shit like that. So if you just continuously have that, you're going to just continue to have the perpetuity of it. It's going to just continue to perpetuate itself until we stop it. Like, there has to be a pause. People have to stop. And most of you don't even want to become involved with anything until you fucked up in the game. Until something happens to you, you don't care about nothing. All you care about is you and yours. That's it. Again, competition. Competition has you thinking that way every day. You're thinking about getting ahead yourself. That's what competition is doing. Well, I gotta, do what I gotta do so that I'm able to get that job promotion. I gotta do what I gotta do so I can get a better job. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Naturally, that's what you have to do, because you want what's best for you and your family. But I'm trying to explain to you all that it's the system that has each one of us thinking like that. And that thought pattern is counterproductive to our existence on this planet, period. It's counterproductive. That's not going to improve anything. All it's going to do is keep you operating within the same paradigm that we've been operating in all of this time, and leaving everybody fucked up in the game. And when you get a little bit ahead, you thinking that you're doing something, and something happens, like you lose a job, or something happens, to your health or anything like that, and it interrupts your money, then it becomes a problem for you. Then you want to join in with everybody else that was complaining about it the whole time. But you only wait until it happens to you. That's how it has you thinking. That's exactly how it has you thinking in this system, because it's a competitive system. It promotes competition instead of cooperation. If people cooperated with one another, they wouldn't have to compete with one another. And this is what the concept of the resource-based economy is about. It's not about competition. We're not competing with each other using resources on our planet. We're cooperating with each other, the environment, and the resources that are available to us on our planet to benefit every person on the planet, to benefit the environment, the animals, the ocean life, our atmosphere, the air that we're breathing. We don't have to have pollution anymore. We have clean, renewable energy sources that we can be using right now. But what are we still using? Oil. Y'all gotta wake the fuck up. And yeah, I cuss and I do what I do because I like to express myself and get my point across. I know that fuck and all of that shit, when people say that, it gets your attention. Oh, he's a cusser. I'm a cusser, but you cannot deny the things that I'm saying to you as being a fact. Everything I'm saying to you makes sense to you. I know that it does, because you wouldn't be human. You would not be a human being if it didn't make sense. Oh, competition is better than cooperation. You know that that's bullshit. It's the other way around. When we cooperate with one another, there's no need for competition. We remove the need to compete. So that means all of this capitalism bullshit, all of this free market enterprise, buying and selling, all of that shit is bullshit. You only selling stuff to get money. What is it that you want money for? You want money to give you access to the things that you want in life. That's what anybody wants money for. So if that's the case, we need to examine the way that this system is set up. We're living in a system that requires money to obtain basic needs and essentials of life. That's not intelligent at all. Why would you have all of your needs and your desires limited to something that's not even real, something that's artificial, that's difficult to get your hands on? It's not easy to get your hands on money. And what happens is those that make their way to it live a little better than the next person. But the majority of people are not able to function within the society. And you all know that. You see what I'm saying? Everybody with a job, you know that. If you don't have a job, you know that more than anyone. I'm going to do another video. My next video is going to be pretty good because I'm going to talk about the basics of employment. If you take a population of 300 million people, which in the US is around 330 million people. 330 million people. And the only way really for people to obtain purchasing power is either through a job or through the welfare system. If you only have 100 million jobs available and there's a population of 300 million people plus, where does that leave the other 200 million people? You have an even smaller percentage of businesses that are able to sustain themselves beyond 3 to 5 years. Whatever that number is, say that number is 10 million. So you got 110 million people that are able to function and operate through society, either through employment or through a business. What about the other 200 and plus million people? What happens to them? How do they obtain the purchasing power needed to get access to food, clothes, a place to stay, and just the basic essentials of life? Where are they getting the money from? People don't do basic math. And then you get tricked by all of these numbers that they give you when they talk about unemployment is only 7%. Oh, unemployment is down, it's only 8%. 8% of what? There's people that have been out of work for 20 years. Where are they getting money from? But we're going to talk about it. I'm going to end this video here. Mark Fuller, once again, another archive, another, video, some more thought-provoking stuff for you to think about. I'm not going to say food for thought. This is thought-provoking. I want to create dialogue. We need to talk. All right, the Facebook Lives are coming soon. In the meantime, make sure that you support us. Get yourself a monthly contribution plan. Every dollar counts. You already know what my goal is. I want to raise $1 billion so we can build the first resource-based system using the direction and the foundation of the Venus Project. So go to thevenusproject.com to check that out. And the links to get yourself a monthly contribution plan with the Free World Order will be underneath this video. All right, Mark Fuller checking off. Signing out. I'm out. Deuce.